Hey, it's Jonathan Shulman, Master the Floor, author and Master the Floor podcast. Hey, wanted to talk to you today about strategies versus tactics. I know this is going to sound boring, but it's really important because we're going to talk a lot in the next couple of episodes about how to get over the hump that you're on the floor. But we're not going to be able to do that unless we kind of deal with a couple of the basics. And the basics are strategies, which mean winning, right? What are the strategies that we're going to employ? How do we win? We got to open better. We got to create a better rapport. We got to do all those nauseating things that they tell you to do in training. But the tactics are the things that really make the difference. And tactics are the things that you do to achieve the strategies that you set. So if you say, I want to, let's forget about getting a sale, because a sale isn't exactly the most important part. The most important part is getting a customer, is making an impact with a customer, is opening a sale. Because as the great trainer Harry Friedman often said, you can't close something that you never opened to begin with unless you found it open. And that never happens on the floor. So you need to open well, which means that you do need to get somebody to like you. And the only way to do that is not what they say about establish rapport. It's establish your credibility. It's to get them to understand that you know what it is you're talking about, that you are a pro, that you know what to do, and you know how to get somebody from A to B, which means how do you get the old sofa out of the home, the new one there, making it look a heck of a lot better, and basically addressing the hopes and dreams and desires of every customer that walks in the store, that their home is going to look exactly like they want it to. And thank God they found you, right? So forget about rapport. Let's talk about credibility, because rapport begets credibility. Let's forget about that. Let's just do credibility. How do I establish myself as credible to you without sounding like a blowhard, like you're going to sit there and brag about how great you are? Nobody wants to hear that. The only time somebody wants to hear that is when they really start talking to you about, are you the person for me? Are you the one that I'm going to trust with all of my time and my information, and the future 5, 6, 10 years I'm going to live with whatever it is I'm going to be buying from you? Are you the one? Because frankly, there's a heck of a lot more sofas out there that'll work. But what customers are really shopping for is that one salesperson, that one store that really delivers to them that kind of vibe, that feeling that it is, that says, okay, I'm with a winner here and this is where I need to be. That's where we talk about credibility. And so if you can start establishing your credibility as early as you possibly can, but not too early, because just like being on a date, you don't want to go in for a kiss too soon. You can't go in with a customer too soon. It's got to be the right time. My personal desires when it comes to trying to make an impact with a customer is wait for them to stop somewhere. It's brutal when somebody walks into a store and then there's a salesperson right there that says, hey, can I help you? Or first time in, or what brings you in today? Or one of those statements that salespeople are supposed to say because that's what the boss told them to say. And it's just sort of naturally what comes out of your gut when you see a customer. What else are you going to say? You've got to establish communication. You've got to establish a connection. You've got to start the process somehow. The cool move is to take the power and keep the power. It's not going to work if you sit there staring at the door waiting for it to open up and people walk in and they can see you staring at the door. That does not build credibility. What does build credibility is being busy. It's having other things to do. It's sort of like dating. If you like somebody, don't call every 30 seconds because you're going to seem too desperate. It's the same ick that a customer gets when they walk into a store and they see you sitting there waiting for them to come in. It's sort of like a hyena on the Serengeti waiting for the little gazelle to come out of the hole and get pounced on. Nobody wants to be that person. And nobody wants to deal with somebody like that, especially someone that they feel is just going to follow them around the store until they finally decide they've had enough and walk out. And you go back and put your name on the up list. That's not what we want to do. We want to be busy. If the store demands and expects that we welcome a customer in, welcome them in. Hey, how's it going, folks? Be right with you. Go off and do something else. If that's going to establish them as your customer within the realm of your store, then do that. Because nobody wants to go to the person who happens to be available. And I can prove it to you. If you or someone you love have a heart attack and they rush you to the hospital and the doctor's there, and there's two of them, one of them is getting off the case and they've done 1,000 heart conditions before in the past and they've been written up in the New England medical journals and everything. versus the guy fresh out of medical school that's never seen this before. Who do you want? And if you can wait, you're going to wait for the guy that's done a zillion of these things and he's known as a leader in the field. So how do you create to be or set yourself up to be the leader in your field? And your field is furniture. If it helps, wear a freaking lab coat. Pretend you've got a stethoscope around your neck. You've got value. You've got information. You've got time and grade. This is what you do. You are a furniture person and you do this every day. You know exactly where the pitfalls are. You know how to do this. And if you had a relative, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, best friend came in to buy furniture, you would know exactly how to treat them and what to do with them. So what you've got to do is make sure that you can get your customers feeling to the point that they do feel like you're treating them like a member of their family, like they've got a vested interest in the way this comes out. And you have a vested interest in the way this comes out. And you start putting them through the process. And if you start looking at your customers, instead of customers, let's shift that over to client. And a client, by definition, is somebody in your professional care. So, lawyers don't have customers; they have clients. Interior designers and decorators, they'll refer to their people, their customers, the people that they're working with as clients. Doctors have patients. It's a same thing. Accountants have clients. So we want clients. We want people that are in our professional care, and most importantly, we want them to feel like they are in our professional care, that they are fortunate that they got us and not one of the other bozos on the floor who's just looking at them like, how am I going to slam this sofa into your home today? How are we going to write this up today? That is not the goal. The goal is to establish credibility first and foremost. Once you establish credibility, then you can do a heck of a lot of things with it. But you can lose it. We don't want to do that, but you can also build on it. That's what we want to do. So hopefully you're almost at the store now. And take this in the spirit in which it's intended. I know I say that a lot, but if you can start working on building your credibility and not so much on working a sale, this is the first component to being very, very, very successful at what it is you do, which is being on the floor, making a difference in people's lives and furnishing their homes with the stuff that's going to make them happy for years to come. Remember, the floor doesn't own you. You own the floor. Let's go get them. Talk soon.